Welcome to Lesson 6, Classroom Management versus Classroom Facilitation. In this lesson, let's talk about the difference between managing and controlling your music classroom and facilitating it, such that your music learners feel empowered in your music program. Let me know which of these scenarios you would prefer. Would you rather spend 7 hours of your day where every hour you're being told where to be, what to do, and how to do it? Or would you rather spend 7 hours of your day being given goals and then options and choices for how you can accomplish them? Of course, you would choose the second scenario. The unfortunate reality is that first scenario where every moment of your day is being dictated to you, where to be, what to do, how to do, that's the unfortunate reality for so many of our students in our schools all across our nation. It's a fact that control is an insidious element throughout our education system. Knowing that information allows us as culturally responsive music educators to begin to counteract it. You remember in our last lesson when we talked about understanding your frames of reference, that when we understand the biases that we hold, that's when we can interrupt them. So now you know that control is an element that's a part of our educational system. We all have a little bit of a bias towards that control because most of us experienced a traditional K through 12 higher education situation. But now that you know, now you can start to move away from that. The other problem with a control kind of approach to classroom management is that you're not allowing your students to have practice with their learn skills. You'll remember that part of culturally responsive teaching is for students to develop learning to learn skills so that those can transfer into other contexts and they can develop independence. When we are constantly controlling what they're doing, how they're doing, where they're going, controlling the whole learning process for them, we're robbing them of the opportunity to learn, develop, and practice those learn skills. In our music classrooms and our music programs, it's really important for our students to be developing that independent musicianship because we want them to be able to perform in ensembles. We want them to be able to develop critical thinking and creativity skills. That means that we have to be really conscious and aware of moving away from control and towards facilitating. Let me give you a couple of examples of what I mean. In an elementary or middle school general music classroom, working towards facilitation could look like giving your students the overall objective for the lesson or unit, and then working together with them to decide how you want to work through learning it, and also what could be different options for demonstrating understanding. In a secondary ensemble classroom, maybe an orchestra classroom, that could look like working with your students to develop the concert program, deciding what the weeks and months up to the concert are going to look like as far as rehearsals, deciding how all that is going to look, and then deciding together what's going to be the success criteria for a successful concert. This is possible with our oldest students as well as our youngest music learners. It's important also to remember the effect of a facilitative approach on the overall learning environment in your music program. A much more positive experience is possible when you work towards facilitating the learning for your students, not only because it gives them the ability to have more options and have more choices, but it also allows them to be more engaged. You will remember from lesson 2, where we talked about knowing your learners, that we want to make sure that we're being relevant to their prior knowledge, their prior experiences, and their interests. When we're choosing those things and also considering how we can engage them in the learning process from the start, not only are they going to have a more positive experience, but they're developing those learn skills, which is going to allow them to learn more deeply and develop that independence. All right. That's it for lesson 6. And here's your reflection for today. What are some small shifts that you can make in your music classroom away from managing and towards facilitation? Take a moment to gather your thoughts about that and then drop your reflections in the comments below this video. And then I'll meet you back here again tomorrow for lesson 7. Don't forget to let your music friends know about this series so they can get in on this learning too.